Welcome back to the Today with Tally podcast. Folks, we have got a great show in store for you today. We sit down with some entrepreneurs, but these entrepreneurs just aren't your average everyday entrepreneurs. This is a father-son duo, and what they're doing is making some big waves in Southern California. But first,
hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Today with Tally. The mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and search Today with Tally. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the program as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Tally.
Everybody that knows me knows that I love to eat. I am a foodie. I'm actually a top 10% Google rater. I go to a bunch of restaurants. I like to eat out, and I review businesses. And I've been a foodie now since COVID. Since 2020, I was out there trying to lift up businesses that were struggling. And one thing led to another. And now I'm this Google reviewer. But additionally, I love small businesses and I love to support small business. And our next guest, I should say, it's a father-son duo. And talk about creativity and innovation. This father and son team has created a business called Famous PUDN, and they're located in Southern California. And they have come up with this recipe, folks, that is selling pudding by the gallon, by the buckets, based out of Murrieta, California. We have E.J. Smith, Jr. and Sr. from the headquarters of Famous PUDN. How are you guys?
Woo-wee! Great, BT. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm hanging in there. Another day, another dollar. Look, I love small businesses. I love supporting small restaurants, and you guys fit into that category there. I love doing reviews and lifting businesses up like yourself. Further, young entrepreneurs. You have a father who has been there and done that, and he's passing that legacy and that torch down to your son who is sitting to the right of you. And I think that is just a blessing to be able to do that and to share, your wisdom and your knowledge and your expertise with your son. And again, pass down that torch and let him shine and carry it. And you are there as a mentor.
Yeah.
Explain how this feels getting up every morning and heading to your place of business.
Well, first of all, BT, let me just say you're an inspiration. We love what you're doing for everyone. It's just not Temecula, Murrieta no more. It's not just Texas. This is worldwide, baby. 1%. And I've seen you from day one when we first met, and you were still doing your job, small business. Mm-hmm. And you were just full of life and energy. And to see you go through the transition and to see you work through what you worked through to get back to, like you were saying, Brian, Tally, it's amazing, man. Your family was behind you. You had communities behind you. You actually had states behind you. So it's like you're doing God's work and you have a purpose and you're inspiring us all. So continue to do what you do, man.
That means a lot, man, coming from you, especially somebody that I've respected for many years. Your smile can light up a room, your motivation. I've never seen you in a bad mood. You are a guy that, folks, if you ever need a hug or if you ever need uplifting, look at Luke. This is him. I mean, what you see is what you get in E.J. Smith. Now, E.J., I want to start with you, Senior.
Yes, sir.
Where did you grow up and tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Man, I grew up in Gardena, California, and thank you for letting me start there, Brian, because that's where pudding originated. It was actually in the family. It's been over a century-year-old recipe that's been passed down through generations. my mom used to make it for us all the time for like celebrations and family gatherings. So that's what it always meant to me is whenever you seen mom making banana pudding, you knew that we were going to have some family over, some friends over, something's going on that really meant something. It's an enjoyable experience because it takes a lot of time to prepare. It wasn't no box mix. It was made from scratch, man, on the stove, stirring by hand, which you had to wait for it to gel in the refrigerator overnight. Well, not my dad. He'd always eat it straight off the stove. He's not waiting, but yeah, everybody else had to wait. And one day, I asked my mom to make it for me, and she was like, "No, you need to get your butt in the kitchen and make it yourself." And I was 12 years old, and I'm like, "Huh?" Didn't even understand at the time. Like, make it myself. This is what you do for us. She's like, "No, I'm tired. You go in there and make it yourself." And so she gave me the ingredients. I went to the store, got everything I needed, came home. I started to make it a couple of times. I let my dad be the taste tester. Took it to him, and he's like, "That's not it, son." I'm like, "Oh," he said, "Try again." And so about the third or fourth time, I took it to him. He said, "Son, whatever you did, don't ever change a thing. This is it right here." And so I got so excited. I made another batch, took a sample down to the local liquor store on the corner that had a deli inside of it called King's Liquor. The owners there, "You didn't make this, your mom made this." I said, "No, I made this." They said, "Well, we need to see about putting this in our deli counter." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I got so excited. I jumped on my bike and rode home, busted through the door, and I see my mom and dad, sister and brother with long faces. And I'm like, "What's going on?" Dad shared with me that we had ended up losing the home, that we all had to move. So the family kind of got separated because he went to live with his mom. My mom went to live with her mom, and my sister went with her boyfriend. I went to live with my uncle, which became my guardian, 25 years, retired military vet, Master Gunny Sergeant Webb. And it changed my life at that time. I didn't make pudding again until I came home from college, and I started coaching Pop Warner football. And we needed some money. We needed to raise money for our equipment and our banquet. And I said, "Okay, parents, I know how to make a good banana pudding, so we can do this for 1 week. You guys order. I'll raise enough money to take care of what we need." Anyway, the parents kept ordering all season long. It was crazy. One parent came up to me and said, "EJ, can you do me a favor and take a sample to my friend's restaurant?" And I said, "For what?" He's like, "Because I think you can go into business selling this pudding." And me just coming from college, thinking Fortune 500, wasn't worried about starting my own, creating my own. I said, "Well, I don't want to start a business from, making pudding." He was like, "Man, just trust me, try it out." So I took a sample down. They loved it. They ordered a dozen. Driving home, before I can get home, I get a phone call. "Hey, can you bring us more pudding?" And I'm like, "I just dropped off." And he's like, "No, yeah, we need 2 more dozen." I said, "Oh, wow. It doesn't work that fast." I said, "How can you make like 4 or 5, servings at a time cooking it on the stove?" I said, "Just give me 24-hour notice at least." And he's like, "Okay, whenever you get it, just get it here." And within a month time, Brian, ordered 300 of those individual desserts from that little bitty barbecue restaurant. And I was just in shock, like, wow, what just happened here? This was back in 1999. And we had the best season ever. We raised the money from the pudding. I just seen how it electrified and made, everything better. And my wife's like, "EJ, I need my kitchen back." So she kicked me out the kitchen, literally. And that's when I was driving downtown Long Beach, and I happened to see a deli for sale on 6th and Pine. And that deli really resonated to me, the liquor store deli at the corner of my house when I was a kid. And it was a little inspiration at the same time. I jumped out and I looked through the window. The owner waved me in, and I came out a little while later owning a deli. Didn't know anything about sandwiches or having my own business, but it was the perfect shop for my pudding, and that's all I needed to do. And that went bananas. You know, as soon as we took Pine Street Deli down and put up EJ's Famous Puddin', we got people from all over the place, newspapers, magazines, news stations. It was amazing. And then that was going well for a while, and then the wife ended up getting sick. And so at this point in time, she was gaining fluid on the brain, and nobody knew why. We took her to several doctors. We had to go get spinal taps monthly and then weekly and then daily. And the doctor's like, we can't do this anymore. We found a doctor in Arizona that was familiar with her case. And because nobody in California had experienced it yet, and he had just performed the surgery and it was successful. And so we shut down the business, moved to Arizona, and she had the surgeries. And then basically we end up staying in Arizona for the next 8 years, which everything turned out great, right? She's doing well. She's went back to college and got her master's in information technology. She's working in a career that she loves. And at that whole point in time, Brian, I ended up going back to working a normal corporate job. And that's when I found Red Ventures. And they asked me to move back to California in 2015 because I ran the West Coast and we had multiple more accounts out here than we did in Arizona. And they said, choose anywhere you want. We'll take care of it. And my wife was like, I really don't want to go. And I'm like, baby, they're asking now. They're going to be telling us soon. So, do some research. She ended up finding that Temecula was centrally located, really, that I could be in any county within an hour and a half to 2 hours. So LA County, San Diego County, Riverside County, Orange County. And they had wineries, of course, because you live here too. And basically, great schools for the kids. EJ ended up going to Great Oaks, right around the corner from us. And we just fell in love with the community, with the area. Everything was doing great until COVID hit. COVID, my son was going to school, working at Pachanga part-time. We both ended up not working during that time because they wanted me to move to Charlotte, and my wife didn't want to move to Charlotte. And so my son said, Dad, why don't you bring the business back and show me how to be an entrepreneur? I'm like, wow, that might be a great idea here because the community, our environment, they love you in Temecula, Murrieta area. They're going to support you. If they don't like you, you're going to have a hard time. And so we end up finding a location, and here we are, B. Here we are.
And I know exactly what location you're at, and that's an amazing storefront over there. And there's a lot of good anchor stores that really drive people in there. Now, you had talked about, when your mom would be making banana pudding, you knew that there was something coming on. They didn't need to tell you were going to be having a cookout
right
that weekend. You would smell that pudding, and you'd see your dad over there getting in, sticking his fingers in that pot when your mom's slaving over that oven, and you knew, well, we're going to have people over, we're going to have a party, we're going to have a cookout. Something's going on this weekend. They don't even need to tell you. You just already know this, right?
Right.
And when you start hustling at an early age, you become an entrepreneur, and you start climbing your way up that corporate ladder. All the while, your son is looking to you for mentorship. You've always been that role model. You've been that coach in life, not only in Pop Warner, but as a father. And I know you personally, and I can vouch for you and your character. And like you said, I could open up a storefront here and do something that I've been doing my entire life that actually brings me so much happiness and joy, because it reminds me so much of my childhood. And if I can share this with my son and teach him something along the line, I've done my job as a father. And that's exactly what's happened here. However, it wasn't your idea. It was your son's idea to say, Dad, why can't we do this again? I want you to show me the ropes. I want you to teach me that recipe. And additionally, being a young kid, he's got a lot of innovation. These are gummies. They know how to prepare and wrap. I mean, it's very artistic. Kids today are very creative.
Mhm.
You think that all the ideas have been thought of? You go to your Facebook page and you scroll the photos and you're like, how? Wow, that's a phenomenal idea. I mean, you take pudding and you make a business out of an empire, right? You know, very quickly. In the town of Murrieta, which is now in Temecula, you're going and you're catering all these major events, corporate events, weddings, dress rehearsals, graduations, you name it. Famous PUDN is there.
Yes.
And again, you are being supported in ways that you probably could have never seen coming or ever imagined. Junior, what inspired you one day to go to Dad and say, I want to open up Famous PUDN?
Well, like I said, well, like he was saying, during that period of COVID, everything was just, I knew it was going to take us a minute to brainstorm everything and really get everything started. But I'm like, this is the perfect time for us to at least start thinking about bringing your business back. Because I knew it was going to come back. I just didn't know when. And so COVID was just like such a shock to everyone in the world. And people were losing their jobs and houses, and family members were getting sick and dying. I'm like, if there's anything that what can we do to ensure that we will have something secured in our family to never have to be affected by something that's going on in the world, or sustainability. Yeah. So with us working for other people, even though my dad had an amazing job, he was still working for somebody else. And the type of person my dad is, he's head honcho wherever he goes. So he's always wanted to have his own. And being my father's son, I've always wanted to try to open up my own business or see how that sort of thing is when you do become an entrepreneur and you do have your own business and you are supervising, managing, and just doing all that good stuff.
Love it. Now, you're exactly right. You're like, hey, I don't want to have to, depend on somebody else for a paycheck.
Right.
Why can't I create my own path? Why can't I forge my own relationships and watch it grow? And like you said, once you build it, they will come if you're respectable and you put a good product out there. And then at that time, it's just, like anything else, you've got to manage it. You got to manage it well. You've got to take care of your employees. Number one, you got to keep them happy and healthy and appreciated, to know that I want to go to work today because I enjoy my job. I enjoy working for EJ Smith Sr. and Jr. They're good people. And every day is going to be different because maybe we have somebody come into our, into our restaurant today that is going to buy, 1,000 cups or whatever for, or, you've got some celebrity. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities that walk around Temecula and in Murrieta. You don't never know what you're going to get. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a very unique, type set there. Now, do you call your place a restaurant or what do you actually call it?
Dessert shop. It's a dessert shop.
A dessert, okay, a dessert shop, okay.
Yeah.
And what have you learned from your father, Junior? What have you learned from your father over the last 2 years since you guys turned key? And I remember that day that you guys turned key on that, and I was very, very excited and proud and just inspired that and then I saw the joy, that you guys had. I think it was the Chamber of Commerce came out and they did a ribbon cutting ceremony and everything too. Like, what did that feel like?
So what I basically learned from him in the past 2 years is to go out and get it. You can't necessarily wait on anyone, and you can't wait to have everything, all your ducks in a row. You just gotta execute.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go out there and get it, and there's no right way to do it, and there's no wrong way to do it. You gotta do it your way, make your own lane. People are going to tell you, "Oh, this is not going to work," but you just gotta try it for yourself.
Right. Yeah. You figure it out. That's the life of an entrepreneur. What works, what doesn't work. If I don't try it, I don't grow and learn. That's the whole ebb and flow of life, evolving. And really, again, it's jumping in, not knowing. And that's the journey in it. And that's the courage that it takes to go open up a dessert shop and pay high rent fees. I mean, Southern California is not cheap, and it takes risk. But with great risk comes great reward. How has your dessert shop grown over these last 2 years?
Substantially. Substantially. This has always been my $1 million baby. I've known it in my head, right? And this is something that I knew God had a purpose and a plan for. But when you're actually seeing it right in front of you and you're looking at these type of numbers, it's still humbling. It's still in awe. It's still in shock. Like you said, the risk of and the unknown. And luckily, I guard my heart with the 2 Corinthians 5:7, walk by faith, not by sight. Because I don't know if I could have did it any other way. Just by jumping in, diving in, and just pure determination. It's gotten me here. Of course, support son and all of our employees. But at the same time, even when I first started, and back then, I was the first pudding shop in the United States. Just think the first to do anything, a pioneer. It's, I don't know, it's that woo-wee factor again. It's a word I'm looking for that I can't even come up with, but I'm just thankful that I was able to build it and witness it with him, because when I do leave this earth, he can have something that can be passed down generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that legacy piece right there. I mean, that's, like we were talking, before we started, that's the journey, that's the very, that's the emotional piece that comes in, and you're like, man, when my time here is done, I'm going to leave a legacy, not just for my son, but for generations on down the line as you continue. And speaking to your son is like speaking to a version of your young self.
Yeah.
And it is inspiring, because there are so many younger kids in this generation that that they just want everything for free. They don't want to go out and work for stuff. They want their college paid for. They just want to take, but they don't want to put the time in. They don't want to put the work and the effort. Not everybody, but a lot. And to see the hustle out there that you have passed down, through years of being a great father and showing and working and teaching and being there as a great father figure in the life of your son, again, is admirable. It's honorable.
Thank you.
And it is very inspiring, because there's nothing better in life than being a great father. I didn't have a father growing up, so I had to teach myself a lot of things on my own and look to other men as mentors and stuff like that. So you're very lucky, Junior, to have such a role model, such a great man in your life to give you that positive influence to know that, you know what, I can do it. And I have every opportunity afforded to me in the United States of America. And all you got to do is just go get it, go grab it. And like I said, you put the work in, everything else will start to fall in place. And folks, if you don't believe me, go do it. Go put in the work.
It's not easy, right?
Yeah, it's like, I was just telling my son the other day, I was like, if you put in the work, you will be rewarded. And some folks will say, I've been working this for 4 years and I don't have a reward yet. Hold on. Be patient. Keep doing what you're doing. You will be rewarded one day. And that reward may not come in a monetary value.
Right.
It may come through a relationship. It may come through words of wisdom. It may come in a vehicle that you could have never really seen coming or ever imagined, because that's the way life works. It's not always immediate gratification. There are long nights and stressful days, I'm sure, but you work through it. That's the life of an entrepreneur. I don't have a blueprint. We go and we do the job that is needed. And perhaps over the next decade, we could sit down and say, all right, through all of our ebb and flows, trials, tribulations, up, downs, peaks and valleys, now we have this blueprint here. And it's going to be pretty accurate with ordering, with, what our customers like, what they don't like, what works, what doesn't work. Yeah. And again, that's the life of an entrepreneur. You're always
evolving.
You got to always change it, right? You're always forecasting. You just got to figure it out. That's just the part that again, nobody wants to take on because it's not easy. And it requires a lot of work. And again, a lot of the rewards don't come immediately. They come later down the road, and people give up before they see that reward come. And I know you guys have not done that. And you are a trailblazer, if you will. EJ, you were talking about earlier, you couldn't find the word. Well, you are a trailblazer. And do you have any Southern roots by chance? Because I mean, dude, you're pudding, right? I mean, like, that's not really like, when you think of like pudding, like down home Southern style pudding, you don't think of like Marietta, California, but it's always that you bring in Georgia and South Carolina and East Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi to Southern California.
Right. He said, did we have
what was that?
You said, did we have what, Brian?
I think you kind of cut out.
You got Southern roots?
Oh, Southern roots. Mom is from Texas, where you are now, and Pops was from Mississippi. And so
there it is. I knew it. I knew there was something there because now, okay, when I say you got Southern roots, I'm not talking about Southern California. Southern,
right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, man.
Because that's how you do it in East Texas. You go get your barbecue, and then you go get your banana pudding.
Right.
But it don't look like yours, though. It don't look like yours. It ain't as pretty and as dressed up and all that stuff, but it's still good.
They say, hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, B. They say just make it better, right?
Yeah. And I want to know who comes up with all these neat designs.
Oh, man.
I mean, the innovation, again, the creativity that I've seen with you guys and the way you prepare this sells it, and you can put a price tag on there and, and people are going to pay for it because they could see the presentation of something. A lot of people really don't value a lot of the blood, sweat, tears, and the work that goes into like preparing food and preparing a dish. It is art. It is It is very much art. And guys, I encourage you, go to Instagram, go to Facebook. The handles are right here. Um, it is Famous PUDN, PUDN.
Yes.
I have it somewhere here and I want to bring it up. But guys, go see for yourself. Go to Facebook and just type in Famous PUDN and
PUDN.
go look at all the pictures and you will most definitely see what I'm talking about here, because talk about product innovation and making pudding in a wide variety of ways. Now, what else do you guys offer at your shop?
Well, to touch bases on that first question real quick, like I said, we're hands-on with this, right? Every batch is made in a small kettle. So it's kettle cooked to perfection. The kettle just does something to it that nothing else you can get from anything else. That caramelization, that smooth, creamy texture. We only use 5 natural ingredients. We're probably the only KSA kosher certified pudding out there. That means we had a real rabbi come in, watch the cooking process, read all the ingredients. We had to go through a series of checklists, and we actually got certified for that, which was great. And it's gluten-free, and that's health conscious people. A lot of people can't have gluten these days, so they love to just come into the shop and get like fresh fruit on top of their pudding, or granola. We do pudding parfaits and stuff like that. But we come up together with new creations all the time. My son has taken on another role as to putting these things together, which he's started doing videos and start editing, and it just makes it, when you see how much time it really takes for one of these. But we train our guys here, our pudding professionals could make like a classic or a signature pudding in 1 minute. Our specials, it takes 2 minutes. So sometimes, when people come up and there's a line out the door and you hadn't been here before, they're like, wait, what's going on? But once they find out, oh no, these guys are making them to order. These are fresh. These are handmade, built, handcrafted. Then they appreciate it a little bit more, and they don't mind waiting, the 5 minutes to get their product. And the customer service atmosphere in here is amazing, right? That's what we're really focused on. I always tell the team, you don't know what an individual has been through in a day. It could have been fired. They could have lost a loved one. They could have anything, right? It's raining outside. They're walking from the parking lot, drenched. When they come in through these doors, we need to make it feel like they're at home, right? And so when they come through the door, they get greeted with a welcome home, and then they get to ring the bell for each new first customer comes in. They ring the bell, and when they're exiting, we give we always say, "See you tomorrow." And it's just these little hidden innuendos that connects them to us and the experience, and it wants them to come back. Was always told in business, if you see a customer within 7 days, you have a customer for life if they come in. And we've had a lot of repeat customers, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But when it comes down to it, EJ is, I guess, when he wanted to be the entrepreneur at such a young age, he's still growing in other ways and finding different ways to make the business better. And he's going to take us to a level that neither one of us can see right now. And I'm just excited to see the growth and which direction he goes in, especially with the technology with his age group. It's going to be amazing, man. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's what they're very good at is, the social media and the creativity on content, because that's the phone book of today, and if you don't have a presence, nobody's going to know who you are or what you have. So the way to get out to the general public is to get creative and to make neat videos and to, get people through that door. And like you said, man, I mean, you know, repeat business is everything, and word of mouth advertising is everything, and leaving reviews like I do for businesses, meaningful reviews, not like, yeah, it was good.
Right.
But describe it. Describe the chocolate drizzle and the caramel drizzle with the sprinkles and the, like describe it. Paint a picture. Tell a story. There's a story behind this.
Yeah.
It's very real. And it's very real. Folks, stand by for just 30 seconds. I've got to give today's show sponsor a shout out. Rocky Mountain Electric, based in Colorado Springs, Colorado, a trusted, respected, and well-known authority in the electrical contracting industry. Now, folks, Rocky Mountain Electric has decades of combined experience and has built a quality and honorable reputation of bringing premium workmanship, reliability, and quality, and has delivered on that very promise. Now, folks, Rocky Mountain Electric remains an industry leader and a top performer in the Pikes Peak region. From new builds to renovation, one call does it all. No job too big or too small. Call today, 79229-633, or check them out online at RockyMountainElectric.org. That is RockyMountainElectric.org. Folks, we are back with E.J. Smith Sr. and Jr., the creators, the owners, the day-to-day operations of Famous PUDN, based in Southern California, with a storefront located in Murrieta, California. Folks, if you don't know where that's at, it's in Riverside County by Temecula. It's kind of, squished between San Diego and Riverside, if you will, or San Diego and Corona, if you know where that is, the 91 and the 15 down the 215. Yeah, okay. A lot of freeways, a lot of traffic. So definitely when you're getting off work, you're going to need to go get your refreshing pudding. And that's what these guys are here for. Now, where are they located? Easy. Famous PUDN can be found at 24520 Village Walk Place, Suite F in Murrieta, California, 92562. Go check them out again on Instagram and Facebook. Go ahead. It's right there. Famous PUDN, PUDN, for those of you that are listening on Spotify, our iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Amazon. Famous PUDN, PUDN. Now, EJ Senior.
Yes.
When your son came to you and said, Dad, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want you to help me. I want you to guide me. You couldn't say no to that, right?
Well, EJ's always been a unique individual. He's always been ahead of his time, his age group. We always say he's been here before. And so, I kind of got it that he didn't really want to work for anyone, that he wanted his own. I just needed it to come from his mouth, right? That was the green light. Like, okay, let's go. No more time to wait, right? It's first thing I told him is, this is not an easy business trying to be your own entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. 9 out of 10 businesses is going to fail. Failure is good. Failure only means you just haven't yet succeeded. And so don't expect us to be able to pull anything from the business for a couple of years. So first year, we're going to take a loss. Second year, I pray we break even. Third year, hopefully we have a little something for us. And so I had to tell them that ahead, just so there wasn't any unforeseen expectations. Because Brian, running a business is so tough and so hard. You can work 18 hours a day, minimum sleep, and not see a penny or a dime for all your hard work and effort. And it can become a toll on the body, physically, mentally. So it was good that I had put in, no pun intended, all that work before. And I had expectations going into it this time around. And I wanted to share that with him so that he can kind of understand, the tour, the journey. And he accepted it wholeheartedly. Said, E, we're going to do this. Let's come up with a mission statement and our core values. And I wanted him to share those with you real quick.
Yeah, so the core values is the acronym for the PUDN. So it goes PUDN unites diversity nationwide. And then we have our mission statement on the mantle right here. PUDN smiles on people's faces. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, PUDN smiles on people's faces. And so the yellow U in our logo represents you as a customer smiling. So that's why we have that yellow U in there and eyes and the smiley face. And that goes along with the mission statement.
Incredible. See, now I'm just mesmerized with this because, again, see, I couldn't have come up with that. Right? And seeing your, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say you probably couldn't have either. But see, that's the good thing about the generation. They are so innovative. They're so creative. And they do have a ton to offer our country as this next generation is coming up through the ranks. And the younger generation, I see, and this is where Junior is going to thrive. Compensated for hard work is a good thing. Capitalism is a good thing. If you work hard, you will be rewarded. If you don't work hard, you're not going to be rewarded. And that's where people need to understand it's okay to make a profit. There's so many people that look down and you got the haters. They're wait, they're making all this money and this and that, and I ain't got none. Well, what have you done? Right? It ain't not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. And really, at the end of the day, nobody cares, right? So in order for you to thrive in life, you've got to get up, you got to get out, you got to step outside of your comfort zone and get it done, period. Right? And you got to lean on those. You got to lean on those that are going to inspire you every day and encourage you every day, and to ensure that you're going to stay on plan and on mission. And what better role model than, again, a father to do that for your son? And I bet you sometimes your son keeps you in line too. Am I right on that?
Oh yeah, he's always reminding me, hey, you can't do this, or you need to do that, or this. I'm like, or if you don't go sit down somewhere.
What has the father-son relationship at work been?
What has it done?
Yeah, describe it. Like what's it like having a father-son business? Describe what it is in the day of Famous PUDN when you've got a father-son in there. Is it ever like button heads? I mean, like, describe it.
Yeah, well, we're both going to have different interpretations of it. Mine is easy. I get out of bed every day with a smile, knowing that I'm still able to lead, coach, mentor, motivate, inspire. And that's all I've ever done as a father for my son. So that's still continuing. So I'm still in father mode at work. And, he has a different thought process now where he's grown. He has his own ways, his own thoughts, his own individual ways that he likes to do things. And with him not having the corporate structure yet, sometimes things don't roll down the way that they should. But I'm so open-minded. I'm always into innovation, and I allow him to be able to have the space to grow, to bring new ideas, to be creative. Like when I ran the West Coast for Red Ventures, the CEO, Rick Elias, EJ, I don't mind you spending my money, just don't waste my money. Try something. If it works, we keep it. If it doesn't work, stop immediately and move on. but don't be afraid to be creative. And so that's made me feel at ease and allowed me to do my job even better. And him coming every day, knowing that he's an owner and can't get fired, should be some ease while he's learning the steps and roles of an entrepreneur and a business owner. And as he continues to grow, he's just gonna, even though he might think that he knows everything today, he's gonna say different, but because he's such a humble individual and such a good person with a good heart, right? Everything he does, he means well. It's just the experience that, and say, you can't get out of a textbook. And so his interpretation on some things that he knows is going to change once he experiences it. And so it's all within timing, all due in timing, but at the same time, that's what life's about, is going in, going hard, and if you fall or if you fail, just get right back up. It's good to have a supportive system around you. It makes life way easier. And, you know, that's it for me. Get up out of bed, knowing that I can leave outside the business to go work on the business while he's working in the business. I didn't have that before. Someone that I can leave and trust. Well, my wife, of course, Val, but she's never been into it like he's been into it. So now I can fully just take time away and know that it's going to be ran to the best of Putin's ability. And so I love that, Brian. There's no better feeling in the world to duplicate yourself, to make a clone of yourself. You know, it's like not one, but two of you. That's it's magic. It's an awesome feeling, man. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. That's every business owner's downfall is they're like, man, I need another one of me. You know, I need another one of me because I can't do it all. I'm running, you know, 16, 17, 18 hours a day. And then I got to get home and then I got to do the paperwork and then almost, holy cow. And then I'm right back to the grind. And, you know, that is the life of the business owner. And, you know, I think you dated yourself a little bit there. And I know I got a little gray and I know you got a little gray coming in too, but you said the word textbook. That kid right there sitting next to you probably doesn't even know what a textbook is. Like, what do you mean? I got a laptop, right? I got a You said textbook. Man. I remember back in the day, we used to have to wrap them suckers in the old Alpha, Beta, and Vaughn's paper bags that you got from the local grocery store. Yeah. You would write on them and stuff like that and think cool in school and all that stuff. But, you know, you had mentioned that textbook of what you can't get in it because it's life, right? It's the life lessons that you learn from wise men like yourself. And what I tell people, what I learned from one of my great mentors, a retired U.S. Marine Sergeant Major, is that education costs money. Education costs money, but knowledge is free. And if you could take that knowledge and absorb it like a sponge and hold it with you and grow with that knowledge, you're going to blossom like a flower in the springtime. It's the way it is. Yeah. So your pudding is made from scratch. Is it made from scratch every single day? And if so, what are the day-to-day operations like there? Is this like a 24/7 operation where you got someone there at night and during the day?
It's like a 9 or 10 to close. And that closes around 7 or 8 whenever we get out the store. And then also on the weekends we do events. So he'll most likely be setting up the event. And then after the store, I'll go down and break down. And then, you know, back at it again in the morning time. Sometimes we have early events in the morning. And then I have to go set up that event and come back to the store, run the store, and then repeat the process. And we're only open Thursday through Sunday. And that's because throughout the week, Monday through Wednesday, we have to cook and prepare for the week. And then catering, we also allow catering orders on Monday through Wednesday. So like big orders like Abbott, Amazon, and wedding orders, we would like to separate that from store hours as much as possible, because a lot of the times we are doing events Thursday through Sunday. But currently right now he's the only one cooking, and then I'm helping him prep for that because the process before cooking is an entity within itself, and then the process after cooking is an entity within itself.
Sure, it's a science. If
Yeah.
you don't have that science down, it's not going to taste the same. You need every batch to taste the same, like a McDonald's French fry.
Yes.
If you're in Seoul, South Korea, or if you're in Miami, Florida,
Mhm.
that French fry is going to taste the same, and that's exactly what you want. You want consistent to keep people coming in through those doors for sure. And I think that's very good that you keep that same chef, if you will, on that and keep it the same, and keep that recipe alive, if you will, to keep those folks coming back in. And I love that you guys have several streams of revenue. It's not just the storefront. The storefront is, somewhere where we can make it and prepare it and get it all ready to go. We can treat the walk-ins, but also, folks, we've got a catering type deal over here that we have an additional stream of revenue coming in. We all know that Temecula, California is one of the capitals of the country for weddings.
Yeah.
I mean, so I can imagine all the stuff you're doing out in wine country. And, like I said, Pachanga and literally living in the mecca of parties and get-togethers and gatherings. So again, this business model is definitely something that is very, like I said, is very intriguing. And I think that you guys are going to continue to do big things in your near future. And I mean big things. I think I could really see this becoming a national brand. I could really see this opening up in different parts of the country, in different regions, and seeing you guys on the front cover of Entrepreneur Magazine, because that's what I see in the Smiths right now. But that's my personal opinion on you guys. Knowing you personally and knowing what you're passing down to your son, I can tell you right now.
Wow.
Sky's the limit, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. You can see the goosebumps. Because I love it
right now.
I love it when my friends do well. I'm cheering for you guys. I want you to do so well with this, and I want you to come to Houston, Texas, because I want me some pudding.
There we go. Let's go.
Got to open a storefront here, man.
Oh, love that. Love that.
Come on. Wait, hold on. Hold on. And you know what we say about that?
Woo!
There it is, guys. I'm telling you, man. Trademark it. The whole woo-wee and the pudding, and man, I love the this right here, your mission statement and your core values, all lumped in to your brand, and that brand is right there on your visor. The smiley face and the whole unites diversity nationwide, with pudding being at the very forefront. We have a lot of people in the country that are always at each other's throats, but you know what? Everybody can sit down, enjoy a pudding, and absolutely agree that it is going to be a fascinating dining experience that you will never, ever get back if you're going to somewhere else to get, again, you don't want to eat out of a box. You want to sit down. And, you can meet so many nice, intriguing people too when you're sitting down enjoying a pudding. It's almost like going to a bar, right? And just having a beer and talking to a stranger.
It really is. It really is. We have, since we work closely with, there's 65 wineries, like you were saying, there's 15 breweries here. We've created our own banana pudding beer with Oscar's Brewing Company here in Temecula. It's on tap. It's delicious. We're also doing wine pairings with pudding at several wineries. We have one tonight, actually, at Leoness. It's just so much fun, Brian.
Killing it, dude. Killing it. I mean, dude, I said beer just to say, it's kind of like you could sit down and, because a lot of people, look, we have a lot more in common than people think. You just got to sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
And I mentioned a beer, and you're like, oh, yeah, we got beer pudding. I mean, dude, freaking dude, what haven't you done with this pudding, man? I mean, dude, I'm so proud of you, man. Like,
thank you, big.
Words can't even express, man. And I miss you. I miss that smiling face and that old bro hug that we used to make. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your son. I'm proud of your son for stepping up and really taking on that challenge. And because obviously there had to be some thought into this. All right, how am I going to tell my dad? How am I going to tell him? Well, this is what I'm going to do, and I want you to support me. Boom, there you are. Folks, this is E.J. Smith Sr. and E.J. Smith Jr. They are the owners of Famous PUDN, based in Southern California, with a storefront located in Murrieta, California. You can find them if you are local, 24520 Village Walk Place, Suite F, Murrieta, California, 92562. And with that, I just want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing a little bit about your story and the driving force behind the idea of what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, serving not only your community, but serving so much inspiration out there to other people that may be tuning in today to say, you know what? I needed to hear that. I'm going to go out. I'm going to take that leap of faith, and I'm going to start my business today.
Motivate, inspire.
With that, again, guys, thank you so much. The work you're doing is amazing. It's inspiring. Keep it up. I wish you nothing but the best in the near future. And again, there's really, again, like, I've said, sky's the limit, and I mean that because again, I don't think that there's anything else that you guys can really think of. And again, that's what I would say about innovation, right? Because you guys have nailed it. As soon as you said beer pudding, I'm like, oh, wow. So.
Oh man, well, Brian, thank you for having us, man. It's been such a pleasure and honor just to be in not the same room, but just face to face and just feeling that energy and the love, man. It's so inspiring. Like I said, to see where you came from, see what you went through, and see how you overcame, man, and just the determination. It's man, I just gonna stop right there. But you know what you're doing. You know how you did it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's inspired me. It's inspired hundreds of thousands, maybe millions by now. You're famous, man. You're all over the place. So
man, it hasn't been an easy walk, but it's a walk that that I was selected to do, and I'm just doing everything that God wants me to do, and that's this right here, and there's no way I could have gone through everything that I went through without him in my life. And I'm glad I invited him into my heart in 2019, and things have never been better for me ever since, that neat moment happened. Folks, it has never been easier to listen to this podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Facebook, and Twitter. Folks, always remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time, for Today with Tally podcast, this is Brian Tally. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless. And thank you for the kind words, my brother. I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
Got you, B.